Good stuff right here.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Getting ready.
Well, we're ready. So,
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome again to our podcast, Crispy Animator. It's Sormeh and
Alejandro, how you doing, Sormeh?
hey, not bad, not bad. Today is sunny, so I'm in a good mood.
Did you see the eclipse?
No, everyone talks about it, but I think I'm in a spot that doesn't show anything.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. I saw a lot of videos though. Some friends sent me those. Those were really cool.
I'm not super excited about the eclipse. I don't understand why so many people are like,
It's the moon blocking
eclipse.
the sun. It was so
Yeah,
cool.
so I mean, you just see a picture. It's like when you go hiking and they're like, go up all the way, like kill yourself to get up there to look at the view. I'm like, I can just drive up there and look at the view or see a picture. I don't know. I'm not sad that I'm not seeing the eclipse. That's the point of all of this conversation.
It was cool.
Um,
Yeah, so what are
but
we going to
yeah,
talk about today?
yeah. Well, I think it would be good to talk about how we met.
Okay.
It was a long time ago, years now. I can't believe it.
How many years?
I don't
4? Was it
remember
4?
more than four because I've been in
Really?
the industry, let's see, two and two, at least five, like
Uh-huh.
professionally in the industry. And then I took a class before that, so 5, 6 years ago
Oh my gosh.
would
Okay.
be the class we took together.
That's crazy. I thought it was like 4. Either way, I remember it, but
It's long.
yeah.
Either way, it's years. Um, it was for me, that class was crazy because it was the only class that I took that was in person. Sadly, it doesn't exist anymore. It's
Well,
online.
I think we got to tell everyone what class it was. It was Animation Collaboratives, Advanced Acting. Great school. We highly
Great
recommend it.
school.
Michael
Amazing school.
Makarowitz has a great program, and we're not
And
getting
it's
paid.
it used to be right
Wink,
in on
wink.
the opposite of Pixar. So you would
Yes.
like see Pixar and then go to class. It was great energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not there anymore. It's all online. Still great school.
Yeah.
But yeah, the class I took, you were there in the back of the class usually for some reason, and I was in the second row at all
Oh,
times.
I felt nervous. That's why, because I feel like well, not I feel. I felt like everyone was like a expert, and I was at that
No.
time. I had never done any animation, like a job at all. I was just
Mm,
learning.
same thing. Yeah. We had one guy that was amazing.
We
Um,
had remember Paula. Paula was really good too.
oh yeah, that's true. Paulo was also good.
Yeah. Well,
Paulo, I felt reachable, but yeah.
I didn't feel like any of you guys were reachable. I mean, you guys were, don't get me wrong, you guys were all so friendly, but I felt so overwhelmed because I would see everyone's work and I'm like, I work at a restaurant teaching and then learning how to animate at the same time. And then I have all you guys there and it was just,
I
uh,
just remembered that you used the rig that had giant hands, with huge hands. And every time I wanted to come and tell you, like, just stop using this rig. This rig is hard to use. It's like it adds to the struggle. And you really used that one rig the whole time. I think the whole class you did that. It was hard. So I was
Nacho.
like,
I think it
maybe
was
you were
Nacho.
trying to Nacho, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought then I realized you might be challenging yourself with the hands, but then I realized maybe you're like it's comfortable because you keep using the same rig, which makes sense.
I think it
So
was just that because I can't find that work anymore. So I'm just gonna go with I think I just felt comfortable and I didn't feel like changing.
it's a good answer. Yeah. But yeah, that's where we met, and then you got my first job in the movie industry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But wait. You were working before there. Where?
Yeah, so the other guy in the class, the guy that I was talking about, that's amazing. He got my first job in the game industry
Uh-huh.
right after that class. I was at 2K. Um,
What'd you do
I
there?
love I love Civilization as a game. So as soon as he said I work at 2K, do you want to work there? I was like, yes. And then I ended up working on all the games that 2K does except for Civilization.
Oh, so a lot of
Yeah,
it. Don't they do basketball and
they do. Yeah, 2K. Yeah, NBA 2K22, and then WWE and golf was new. I hated that one.
But what'd you
Golf wasn't
do?
that much
Did you
fun.
animate on
I
them?
did, it was mocap, a lot of mocap work,
Oh, okay.
and learning how to rig in Motion Builder. It wasn't the most fun job,
Yeah.
but I learned a lot. The problem is that it was during the pandemic, so the cool thing about mocap is that you go on stage and learn how to suit the actors coming in, and you meet a lot of cool guests, like all the NBA stars would come in to record,
Yeah.
but because of that, they weren't coming in, and we wouldn't be able to go on stage, so I didn't get all the perks that come in with that job.
Mm, dang.
Yeah, but then you came in and you're like,
Yeah.
I have a job. Do you guys want to come over? Me and my friend.
I got ugh, I by that time I was applying to like everywhere just
Mm.
with whatever I had, and I wasn't getting any answers. And of all places, I saw on Facebook this one guy I worked with on a short film while I was going to school in animation collaboratives was like, hey, if anyone's an animator and is looking for something, please, tag yourself in my post and send me your
On
resume
Facebook.
on Facebook. So
Wow.
I was like, you know what? I I'm just gonna do it. So I sent him a message saying, hey, I'm an animator, and he's shocking enough, he emailed me back or he messaged me back like 2 hours later and was like, okay, send me your resume. I'm gonna give it to the hiring manager and then my manager. And I was like, oh, okay,
Oh,
this is
wow.
this is pretty cool. But I didn't think anything, so I go to my wife and I'm like, nothing's gonna happen. And then
Mm.
suddenly the next day, I get a message from Andre at
Hmm.
Halon Entertainments, and he's like, hey, can you meet up for an
The
interview
next day. That's pretty quick.
the next day? And I was like, oh my God, I actually have an interview. So at the time, I was working at Whole Foods. I was doing like early morning shifts, so I would wake up at like 3 in the morning and I would work till like
Oh
1 or 2 in
no.
the afternoon. I
That's rough.
Yeah, COVID, it was bad. And then, so I set up with my manager at Whole Foods. I was like, hey, I need to be home at this time. And he's like, yeah, yeah, that's fine. So I get in, and our apartment was so small, I had to do the interview in our bedroom on the floor. And I used one of our dressers to hold the iPad up so we could talk. And I remember I was speaking to three people. Andre was there, the hiring manager, and then a production manager. And we had this whole conversation. And then I ended the call with, even if I don't get this job, I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to interview with you because no one else has done it. So
Nice.
thank you. And then I hung up and then I go to my wife and I'm like, I didn't get it. I was so nervous. I didn't get it. 2 days later, I got an offer.
And they wanted you for Slumberland, right? The
No,
one
they
on.
wanted me for Red Notice. So
Oh, initially it was Red
it
Notice.
was Red Notice. So I basically did what you did. We did a lot of post viz and it was cleaning up mocap and everything. So that was a really good learning experience. And then my next project was Slumberland.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when they asked me again, hey, do you know any animators? So I messaged you and then I messaged Eric and I said, hey guys, I got this job. Are you guys interested? And then,
The cool thing is that it came up at the right time. My contract was up and they were extending it, but only by like a few months.
uh-huh.
So I was starting to look. I wasn't desperate yet, like I am now. But and then Eric messaged me saying, "Oh, remember Alejandro from class? He works at Halo now. Do you want me to ask him if they can recommend you too?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then Andre again messaged me, and then the interview was quick. It was just him and a recruiter. I don't
Hmm.
remember which recruiter at the time. But it was the end of Slumberland and they were short staffed because I think a few animators were leaving.
Yeah.
So he basically, the main thing was he asked me, can you work on creatures? I'm like, I love working on creatures. Creatures I like. That's my favorite thing in the world. Thank you so much. And he said, have you ever worked on things like creatures with multiple legs? And I said, I've worked on a robot that has like 6 legs, so it's kind of spider-like. And he said, "How about a giant squid?" I'm like, "A giant squid? No, but I would love to work on a giant squid." So, but he wanted full time, and he basically was telling me if I don't quit my job, he won't. I wanted to kind of do both until my contract was up, but he was like, "No." Um, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." Movies were life. Like that was my goal, so I was super excited when I started. But yeah, I started with Summerland, and you were there on the same project.
Funny that Andre told you that because he kind of told me the same thing when I was working there. So before you came on, I got the job with Halon, but it was like a 2 week process. So it was like you work
Mm.
2 weeks, and then if you get renewed, you would then go on. So I couldn't quit Whole Foods. So what I would do is I would wake up again 2 to 3 in the morning, work until 9 o'clock, come home, go straight into animating until 6 o'clock, and then do it over and over. I did that for almost like a month and a half until Andre found out, and then he's like, "Please quit your job. You're killing yourself."
Because is I didn't know this, but it's like really normal for for us to have be on a contract when we start, and they do say 2 weeks or a month or whatever it is. But as soon as like you can tell that you're gonna stay. Like I had no idea. I didn't know it was. I thought I got hired and I'm good for life.
Yeah,
So I didn't know the 2 weeks thing existed. So I felt fine. But then later on when I looked, I was like, oh no, I was definitely on a probation period there. Um, so I'm glad Andre caught it and told you, because otherwise I think you would have stayed on Whole
I
Foods for
would have I
longer.
would have kept doing it, and it was rough, but then it was just like you said, it took a while after doing project after project that you realize, oh, they really like you. Oh, okay, you're good. You can just keep
Yeah.
working. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't ask directly, no one's gonna come and tell you, you're amazing. You should stay on with us. Like,
Yeah.
I wish they did though.
Yeah.
The funny thing for me with Halon is that when you told me about it and you were like, yeah, I do previs and post-focus work, I had no idea what that was.
Same. Same.
Not a lot. Like one of the main things I got ready for the interview was what is previs, so that if they ask, I'm like, yeah, yeah, I know how to do that. But I really didn't. They didn't have a good introduction in like how to do it, but they were always there to help. So
Yeah.
it was a great company to learn things at.
Yeah. And no, I was the same. Like I didn't know what previs was, and I was like, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I realized like as long as I say yes, and then in the back end just do as much research as possible, so when they ask you questions, you're ready to go. And like I learned that as we were working there because I would say yes to everything.
Mm.
Everything. They're like, "Do you want to can you render this stuff in Unreal?" "Yep, I got you." "Can you animate in Unreal?" "Yep, I got you." And it just kept working. Kept working. They definitely helped that in that sense too. Like they helped us like learn so much more, and I'm very
Yeah,
grateful for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were great at that.
Yeah.
It's very true.
And then
And then the downfall.
the downfall. Yeah.
I mean, it's happened to so many people in our industry that it's a downfall of everyone. It's just when it has happened to you.
Yeah.
At this point, I feel like for us, it was August. It was very quick. It was like we had no notice, so it just happened in half an hour. But as soon as I got the email, I messaged you. I was like, Alejandro, did you get the email?
I remember
And
that.
they're like,
And
what
then
email?
I'm like, "What email? I didn't get anything." 5 minutes later, I got an email and it was like, "Oh,
The worst thing for me
no."
was that we were not on the same email. That freaked me out.
Yeah.
I was like, why are we separated? I knew we were getting laid off, but why separate us? So, but then we afterwards we realized that I was getting laid off completely, and then you're getting furloughed
Yeah,
for
for
a
a
few
for a
months,
while. Yeah. That was I
which
mean, it's
doesn't make
still
sense
the
why they
same.
did that.
Still the
Yeah.
same.
So
Yeah. Now those like those that sucked. That day was and it was rough because we they gave it to us what? It was like a Tuesday,
it was a Tuesday with the last day of Friday, which
Friday.
is like why?
Yeah.
Those 3 days.
And I know a lot of people that got that. They just were like, "I'm done. I'm not gonna work this week. I'll show up. Like I'll be on the
I
clock."
that was me, to be honest. I was done. Like because they could have handled it better, so I didn't feel
Yeah.
like there was no point in me doing work on those 2 days. I
I
showed up, but did the
I
bare
was
minimum.
I was the opposite. I kind of was just like I
I
kept working.
remember.
I kept working.
You were so positive throughout the whole thing. I was envious, honestly.
It was don't
You
don't get me
handled it
wrong.
well.
Don't get me wrong. It sucked. But I was like, do I sit here and just let it hurt every moment while I'm on the clock? Or do I distract myself with research that Spencer and I were doing? And I was like, you know what? I'd prefer to just pretend like I'm still working. So I just kept doing the research and research and research. And then Friday hit, and then that day was like the goodbyes from the people that were still working there. And it was
That
like
was hard.
holding those tears. I'm like,
The
mm,
group goodbyes were tough.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think I didn't go to the last big one.
you did
I
not.
couldn't. I
It
couldn't.
was, don't worry, it was the higher up speaking, and then maybe like three of us that said something, because you could tell
Yeah.
everyone, it hurt a lot.
Yeah. And I had spoken to everyone individually, so I was like, they're gonna repeat everything, and it was hard the first time, so I can't handle the second time.
Yeah. But I don't know about you, but like the way I felt it was like Halon gave me that opportunity and it was like it was great. We were both doing so well and like I have to keep reminding myself every once in a while that it has nothing to do with us. Our work had nothing to do with the reason we were let go
100%.
and then it was just the industry. And that's what sucks cuz now it's so tough to find a job.
I, my only problem is that we were on a high. Like we had just basically started our careers. We were at a point where I remember we were both looking for promotion, so we were in a really good spot. That it was a very sensitive spot for both of us,
Yep.
and it was snatched away. It wasn't slow coming. Like we weren't ready at all. Even though it was August and people were getting laid off, it wasn't the way it is now. Now everyone, even end of the year last year, everyone was basically holding to, I mean, they knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But back in August, it wasn't that obvious, so we were not ready, especially because we were both on a project that we loved.
It was
And
so much
it was
fun.
a small project and it was ongoing. It didn't have a like close deadline or
We
anything.
had great leaders too in that
Great
team.
reelers.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were a great team.
And
It's
then
just, yeah, it's sad when I think about it. But then again, we learned a lot from it. Like
we
you
did.
said, Halon gave us a very good opportunity. Tuki and Halon both for me. They
Yeah.
gave me both industries now I have some experience in.
Yeah. And
Um,
then afterwards it was kind of like my animation on the side just I think I probably from August to like January, I didn't touch Maya whatsoever. Didn't even bother. Just I think I finally kind of enjoyed the time off. I don't know about you, but for me it was great. And
when from September to January.
yeah, it
That's
was
good.
yeah, it was just like okay, I can kind of relax. Like we kind of just worked all, so
We
hard on
did
all
work
those.
a lot, yeah.
Yeah. But
And we
then,
would end at 6, I remember. We would start at 9 and end at 6, and by the time work ended, or sometimes you had OT, you were done. Like weeks were done
yep,
at work. So yeah.
yeah,
I remember we at the like right before we got laid off, we were having a discussion of I wish we had like what 2 weeks off
yep,
just to work on a reel and update it. It would be amazing. Just a few days, it's fine. And then we got laid off and we didn't work on our reels.
yeah. Which I just started working on my reel, and
Hmm.
it's April. I'm just
I think
starting to get into it.
hope plays a big role.
Yeah,
I think for us, we were not hopeful at all until the strikes ended, and then we thought, then this the end of the year, it's not gonna happen. And then the start of the year, it was very slow. And then when things picked up, you realize it's all seniors and leads and directors. And then all the other jobs were getting snatched up so quickly that,
it's not only that, it's they are all outside the US. Everything is
and
outside the
that,
US. And I remember you kept texting me. You're like, "Are you gonna apply for this job in Dublin, even though they only want people in Ireland?" And I was like, "Yes." And you're like, "You know that you're gonna get rejected." I'm like, "I don't care. I'm just gonna keep applying." Yeah, that's another thing. Like LinkedIn is really rough to look at because it's just every day it's new companies laying off and then new people that you've never met before are just like, "Hey, I'm looking for work," or it's been like a year for them that they still haven't found anything.
yeah. Oh, one thing I did during these few months that you're talking about, I felt very lonely because we worked from home and a lot of people that I worked with were in LA, they were in other places, not in San Francisco. I'm in San Francisco and you're in San Jose.
San Jose, yeah, I'm
Dublin,
moving.
San
Yeah,
Jose,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But Bay Area, both of us. So
Yeah,
I would see you and two other people, but that was about it. And having a community really helps you in these like tough times. And I didn't have that. So I went to a lot of like online seminars and anything that I could go on that didn't cost $1,000 to attend, I would do. And then I realized so many of these guests on these shows are experts in the industry, or like I attended one that was Nimono's director talking, and it was amazing. Like I loved
yeah.
it. But then as I was listening, I realized it's just so many of these people that you hear from. And you don't hear from people like us, the ones that are scared about what's
The
going on in the
average
industry.
Joe. We're the
Average
average
Joe,
Joe.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're both, I would say, mid animators. Um,
yeah, yeah. I would like to be.
you're definitely a mid animator. I thought you're talking about senior.
No,
Uh,
no.
you're
But
definitely a mid animator.
we'll let the viewer.
Everyone,
We'll let the viewer
he's
know.
definitely we apply for mid animator jobs.
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
apply even to senior jobs, even though
yeah,
the
same, same.
7 years is ridiculous.
We were going for senior when we were working. Like that was our goal. We were working towards that. But right now we're mid animators, and you rarely hear from mid animators or
Yep.
juniors, or even the people that the only time you hear from juniors or the people that are trying to get into the industry is at in Q&As when the poor souls are asking, "How do I?" What was there was one guy that asked a question, and I was so sad because I've heard that question multiple times,
Yeah.
even though I've heard it multiple times. I don't remember the question, but it was something to do with resources that when you're in the industry, then you know where to go. But then I realized that's another thing lacking. To find resources, you really need to research. Like it's not a 5 minute thing. Oh, let me search online. No, you actually need to put time in. And
Yeah.
that's when I called you. I was like, Alejandro, let's do a podcast. Let's bring this in. Let's talk about our stuff, what we're feeling. Let's talk about the people that are trying to get into the industry and give them some resources in one spot. Like, you know where to go. You have
Yeah.
questions, this is where you can go and find the answers to your questions.
Yeah. And then it's not only that, it's also like we want to and this is what really caught me on your podcast idea is like being a support out there. It's like once we finally start getting guests, it's like they can finally talk to us and we actually understand what they're going through and then telling them like, "Hey, it's going to be okay. Don't worry, like everything's going to work out." Cuz you got to have hope. You can't have
Either that, or sometimes we can just all be down on one day
True.
together. Maybe like today was about like this week we applied to like whatever jobs, and I sometimes there are some weeks where I get like 4 emails back to back saying, "We're so sorry, we went with another candidate." That sucks.
Yeah.
And I just want another animator to be there with me and say, "I had the same thing. It passes. You're
Okay.
gonna start
Then I'm going
applying
to
again,"
tell
you
you
know?
I had the same thing. It's okay.
Thank you.
And it's only Monday and I've already had 2 rejections.
Oh shit. Yeah.
But
So
I
I
mean,
hope we get that with this podcast.
yeah, yeah, and that's what really caught me because you're right. It really is nice to talk to others, and then just talk.
Yeah, I really wish there was a way to get people together in real life,
Yeah,
like have events, but for some reason it's either all in LA or the ones that happen here are maybe screenings. So you go to the screening and then leave. No one talks. Like there's no time to talk before or after. There's no opportunity. I talked to maybe one person, and that's because I went to a Pixar screening recently, and I've been to Pixar multiple times. We've been together twice, just to tour. Yep, we got that. I have the same
yeah. I
one.
wanna I
So
wanna
good.
start I wanna start getting different hoodies or T-shirts from other
Different
studios and then just
studios. Yeah.
wear them on the podcast.
Oh, you should.
Yeah, so if anyone in the studio, it doesn't even matter if it's a big one. If you want to talk to me, I'll buy it from you. Doesn't matter. I'll
Oh,
rock
we
it.
shouldn't. You shouldn't have said anything, because then everyone would think, where does Alejandro work? Like he's worked in all these studios.
Honestly, I'm working at a restaurant, guys, but I'm not scared to say
That's
it.
that's the whole point of the podcast to
Yeah,
talk about these things.
yeah,
I'm jobless. I'm looking for any jobs right now. Not a restaurant yet. I worked for Uber Eats just recently, but then I switched. So
Hey,
We'll
but
see. Maybe on the next podcast, I'll have a new job.
that's okay.
Yeah, we have to do what we have to do.
Exactly.
Um, But what was I? Yeah, so when we went to Pixar multiple times, and then I went to the screening, and because I'd been, I was telling my friend that came with me for the first time, I was like this is here, this is what happens here, this is what happens here. There's so many cool things in here. And then this other girl, I could tell she was kind of leaning in because she loves Pixar. I realized after. So she just joined us, and she was like, "How do you know all these things? Do you work here?" I'm like, "No, no, no. I just toured this last week and a few times after that,
Should have
before
told her
that."
you slept there.
I should have. I
You
should
see
have
that
said
couch
like
over there? That's my
it's
couch.
mine. Yeah. So yeah, that's the extent of my new animator friend relationships,
Oh, that's
which
cool.
happens like maybe 5 minutes after every event. That happens every few months.
Yeah, I get the random invitations on LinkedIn but lately I've been getting the invitations and then college students asking me questions on like, how is the industry? Like, what can I do to work it? And I tell them like, just keep doing what you're doing, honestly. Keep getting
It's really tough
advice.
for them. I think for them is the hardest right now, getting into an industry that, well,
Either that
I
or they're
take it back.
scared.
It's not the hardest for them, but it's scary
Yeah.
knowing
And
that you're getting into an
it shouldn't
industry
be
that's
that.
not,
It shouldn't be scary.
not at all.
It should
I
be fun.
understand them, but it shouldn't because they don't know. I hope that this podcast will help them figure out how to maneuver the industry, and I also want us to show very realistically that it's a tough industry. Very realistically. Like some people, it could just not be for some people. You're gonna be out of a job often, switching jobs, switching projects. You have to move different places. We'll talk about all of this
Yeah.
hopefully with our guests coming up, and me and you can talk about it more. But
It's fun though. Okay. My wife asked me this last week. She's like, "What's the most fun you've had in a job?" Like because I've done a lot. I've done a lot of different jobs, and I have to say, animation, like, it didn't feel like work. You go in, you get to work on like cool films, and then
I really didn't
yeah,
dread Mondays.
no, I
Okay,
didn't either.
and everyone was like, "Oh, you work so much. You work until 6, and you have nothing to do after. Like you're tired." I'm like, "Yeah, but I enjoy the 8 hours that I'm at work. I really do. It's creative, but at the same time, it's technical, so you're using both sides of your brains.
Yep.
It's wholesome,
Yeah.
and I loved it.
And
Yeah,
then when you get the right people to work with, it's even better.
that's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we did have at Halon.
Yeah. So again, yeah, it's scary out there. It's really tough, but once you get in there and you have one of those good companies, because everyone will get to that company. Yes, you're probably gonna hit those that are just really rough and they work you hard, but you'll get that one where it's like everything is nice.
You know, I love that you're doing this with me because you're so optimistic. It's gonna help our viewers.
Someone's got.
It's true. You're the optimist in this group, so I'm happy you're doing it.
I'm gonna start putting optimistic right here, so
Oh
everyone
yeah,
sees it.
yeah. Your name can be.
Yeah,
People
you know
would
what?
know you as the optimist.
I'm gonna change my name to that now.
Yeah, Alejandro the optimist.
Yep. So one of the resources I think we should mention today because we talked about it was the animation collaboratives. I wanted because we both met there. It was a great school, and
I
I
actually just finished a class with them just recently.
exactly, and I think it was a great program because it is open not only to people that are in the industry right now working, or people like me where it's I had no experience whatsoever with animation, but they helped me get to the point where I can finally start looking for work and feel comfortable. So I've opened up their
Not that they're gonna do that with everyone. Just like don't think that you're gonna take their class and you're suddenly gonna find a job, but
yeah,
it's a great resource to have. And we're gonna share a resource which with each episode, so keep an eye out for that.
didn't mean to drop that. Exactly. So I
It's okay.
think I think for this first podcast, show everyone the Animation Collaborative LinkedIn page where you guys can all go to and follow. Of course, Makarowitz would love that.
I
But
do want to mention they
yeah,
do have a website, and their website is amazing. but for the last, I would say, 2 months, they've gotten hacked and they haven't updated yet. So their website is down for the moment, but we will update you guys as soon as the site is back up and you can actually visit their website. But until then, this is the best way to
Yeah, this is definitely. Yeah, and then they offer all these intensive classes where you can hear from these great experts and great animators or teachers of their fields because they don't only just offer for animation. I believe they started doing like character design. You
hmm
can take acting classes. So the
which is
spring,
amazing for animators, acting classes. I've been wanting to do these intensives for a long time, but I haven't yet. So it's
yeah,
exciting. If any of you have been, let us know what you think about them.
exactly. And then you can definitely take Michael's class for facial mechanics and appeal. He just he makes animation look way too easy, and it's incredible how he does it.
Seriously, it's scary. He really makes it way too easy.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm really excited on this podcast, and I'm excited to hear from other people.
I'm actually really excited about our guest coming up.
Me too. Yeah, it's a we've known them for a while, and they've worked in the industry, and I'm excited to talk to them.
Me too. I want to know how they've been up to these past few months. I haven't been keeping in touch as closely as you have, so I'm excited to catch up again.
Yeah, no, we talk a lot, and they were very excited to join and just share their story.
Awesome. So everyone, uh, tune in.
All right, cut. All right,
What did I want to say? I
the
had something.
ending. Just share their story.
Awesome. So everyone, uh, tune in.
All right, cut. All right,
What did I want to say? I
the
had something.
ending. Um,
Um,
being
so
here.
everyone, thank you for being here with us for
We're still
our
working out the ending.
introductions. Yeah, always. I mean, we're learning as we go. But
Yes.
thank you for learning with us here and listening to our babbling for all this time. But
Yep.
I hope that you come back and
Oh,
listen to us
wait,
some
wait, wait.
more.
You forgot to tell them that we will have a questionnaire for everyone that they can fill out. And if there's any questions someone wants to bring up or they want us to talk about, we can share it on the next one.
How are we going to share the questionnaire with everyone?
I'm gonna put it on the video link and for this trailer in the description so that they can just click it in there.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have the questionnaire, and we would love your help with the feedback. Let
Yeah.
us know. We want to be helpful as much as possible. We don't want to just be here every week with you guys and just talk for no reason.
I mean, I
We want
totally
to.
can.
I'm sure you can. I feel bad for our viewers. Okay, I can listen to you. I don't want to put them through the same thing.
They want to listen to me. I see you. You want to hear me.
But we want to be helpful at the same time.
Yeah.
So let us know what you would like to hear and what questions you have. We will try to get to as many as we can.
Yep.
And yeah,
You got to say the line though. You
oh,
can't you
okay.
can't end it without saying the line.
Yes, of course, of course. So stay crispy, and we'll see you next time.
Wasn't it Let's Stay Crispy?
I mean, it says the same thing, no?
That's true.
Let's stay crispy.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So let's stay crispy. Let's stay crispy, and we'll see you next
See
time.
ya.
Bye.